Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Terrence, and I'm joined here with Anik. We're doing this digitally online because he's in Melbourne and I'm here in Sydney, and we can't be getting too close, So Anik, introduce yourself, say hello.
Good day. Also, I was gonna say we're being responsible more than anything else. I mean,
Oh,
otherwise I would,
100%.
otherwise I would have driven down to Sydney just to do this video.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, this is obviously a bit different, but we adapt as all things should be nowadays. You adapt to the
Adaptable.
different things happening in the world. Anyway, so today's video this is just part of our journal series. So it's very, very casual discussion between Anik and I, just talking about all things business, but more focused on our personal experiences with the business's growth and just any thoughts we may have. Once again, this is obviously a series that documents our progress and the life and the growth of the business. So, yeah, Anik, did you want to start off with the first point that you wanted to touch on?
Sweet. Yeah. So I just want to sort of get into I mean, this is a really interesting one because this video is being made in a time where there's a high amount of uncertainty and I was talking to a few friends as well here and there that I personally have been feeling very, very uncertain. The interesting thing is it's not because of
Yeah,
finance or nor is because of business not doing great or any of those because if anything we get it because in the starting process of all this and there's a lot more happening at the moment. There's a new client coming on board.
yeah,
There's few other conversations happening. There's a possible pro bono work happening pretty soon as well for possible school and stuff. So
yeah,
all those things happening, so it's not like we're not busy, but it's just the uncertainty of things. The the fact of the matter is that there's a lot happening right now, and personally I haven't been feeling the greatest, to be completely honest. I haven't been feeling my normal self who's just like, yeah, let's do this, because normally that's my no general vibe, right? So not haven't been feeling that
yeah,
for a while, especially with what's everything that's happening. And the interesting part is you don't have to be affected in a sense where I'm affected by if I'm lost a job, because I already lost a job. So I had no job to start with, right? Not like neither did you, right? So it's
yeah,
not that we lost, it's just the effect of all, even something small as just just going out for a drive. But going out for a drive knowing that you can just go out for a drive is a whole bunch of that. um, the reason I'm talking about this is
mm,
because this is where it gets really difficult to be motivated and to do things, because that's what it all comes back down to, doesn't it? So it's like, right now my struggle is like, I'm trying to bounce. I was like, should I be using this time to maybe relax and watch Netflix and all that stuff, right? But also I'm like, well, I've got a lot to do, so I should, like, how do I get motivated to this? Like, there's that pedal, right? Because there's a pressure. I hear everyone talking about, there's a pressure to be productive during this time, right? And then there's also a pressure to not be
mm,
productive during this time. So among all the chaos, there's all this pressure happening as well. Like, someone's like, hey, you should take this time to just relax, and then other people saying, hey, you should take this time to learn new items, and then someone else saying, well, and then I am like trying to work on the things, because for me, like, personally, like, business really hasn't really stopped. Like, everything I do is online, we do is online.
yeah,
So that, in saying that, so like I was just saying, that's like a battle. And that's the reason I wanted to get into this, is because when I first started, like, when I first came to you with the idea of like this company, and when we started, like, okay, what could we do, right? And then we eventually came up with the idea of Zero and all this stuff. um, I never thought, this is a personal experience, that this it was going to be this hard. I don't know why. No one said it
mm,
was going to be easy, but I just assumed it was going to be easy, right? Which is stupid of me. Look, I didn't think it was going to be
yeah,
super easy, but I didn't think it was going to be hard either. So, there's so much, and it's right now it's probably a little bit harder than usual, because normally I enjoy the hustle and all that stuff, which is pretty good. But at the moment, it seems to be a little bit more difficult than as per usual. So it's not business as usual. So, per se. But it's an
mm,
interesting time, though. It's interesting lessons to be learned, and interesting exploration to be done as to how we can sort of still optimize ourselves. And still look at how still working on the business
Well, I
and all.
think, yeah. I think the most important thing that, we should be doing is keeping busy. I mean, the last thing you want to do in a time like this where people have, obviously stopped working because of the situation. There are people that are still working, and that's great for them. I guess right now we're kind of more focused on the people that have lost their jobs or aren't able to work in the current time. And I think the most important thing they should be focusing on is, like, try not to focus too much on the negatives of this situation and always try to focus on the positive side of it, and really just keep busy. Treat it as if it's another day at work, or if you are able to set up a little workstation at home, go ahead and do that, and just treat it like you normally would if none of this stuff was going on, as much as you can. Obviously, no matter what you do, it's going to be different and you're going to be feeling certain ways, but I think the best way to go about it is to treat it like, there's nothing different, there's nothing going on outside of all of it. But yeah, keeping busy is probably the biggest thing. I even for myself, that's what I'm trying to do. I know you and I obviously have zero going on, so like you said before, work hasn't necessarily stopped. We're still doing the same things that we would normally do if this COVID-19 wasn't a thing. But even still, because most of the people that we work with, clients, and just friends and family are affected by this, it also does affect us. And yeah, I think just treat it as much as you can like it's nothing's changed, and just keep busy and stay positive and be optimistic about the situation. And it's really about shifting your perspective on this. And I think
Absolutely.
if you can do that.
Go on.
Go ahead.
I think absolutely you're right. So I think this is the perspective is super important. The only problem is it's hard to be very clear about this right now. And the reason I say all this, and I'm fine to most extents, I'm not like obviously this affected in a sense, but I'm like trying to figure out. I think it's things like that for me personally. It's like one of the biggest things that I went away for was like going to the gym. Now that the more I think about it, it wasn't the fact that I had to just go to the gym. It was more so that there was an anchor point in my day where I went to do something which was constant, right? Among the chaos of general life, right? Which is really interesting, and then which allowed me to
Yeah.
have like a flow. I think one of the things that I would say is like hard to get into a flow. Like, I find myself procrastinating a lot. I'm still doing things, just procrastinating. But also, I'm trying to stay positive as well, which is important. And it's important to keep doing those doing and set yourself up. Talking about setting yourself up workstation, today I set up this lighting setup, absolutely makeshift lighting setup, which is just whatever, anything around the house, and bought this light, but yeah, hopefully gonna buy some more stuff because shooting all the videos at home at the moment, so gonna start getting into some home production.
And that's a great segue to something I wanted to kind of touch on as well, is because most of us are at home nowadays, and we have all this time. We now, the time that we said we didn't have, we now have. So it's a matter of what you do with your days now. And seeing as though we are at home, and we are limited to what we can do, I think now is the time for a lot of people to really focus on creating content, whether it's just for themselves or if it's for a business or for someone else or whatever it may be. I think now would be a perfect time to really take advantage of the situation, take advantage of the time that you have at home, and kind of start creating, do all the things that you wanted to do, get creative with it. And I think, I think just capitalizing on the situation is a really, really good idea. And I guess that's what we're doing at the moment as well, is, we'd always been the type of guys to kind of want to document what we're up to and make silly videos, make serious videos, make videos for whoever. But I think now, because, given the situation, we've been creating a lot more stuff. We've been very productive and proactive with our content creation, and I'm really happy with it. And I can see that you are really excited about it as well. And I think, if we keep this up, not even just in the period of being at home, but if after all this is passed, we keep this up, and it's kind of set us up for that continuous content kind of
Well,
schedule.
absolutely. Look, I think it'd be contradictory to sit there and keep telling people to make content if we didn't actually make our content ourselves.
Exactly.
So, which is super important to get into, and it's not hard. I mean, the like, yeah, it's another thing. A little bit harder is because everyone, like, when you start making content, and there's sometimes it gets hard to come up with a good idea to make content. Like right now, like I wanted to do a one of the business video series, but I wasn't too sure what to talk about. So I haven't done one today.
Yeah.
So I'm still sort of trying to sketch. I'm letting it, I'm procrastinating on it so I can come up with a better idea to do. So I know what I want to do in it. But at the same time, I think this is a perfect opportunity to get into it. Even if you build a good habit of doing content, I think that's the most important thing, because now you've got the time, so you can start building that habit of doing the content, which is super important for business especially. And like anyone who's I mean, if you're a person who just has a full-time job and that's what you intend to do, you don't really have to create content. Maybe this is where you catch up on Netflix, right? So which is also fine. So that those kind of things. So the whole idea is to do the things that we always didn't have the time to do for. So whatever those things were, like so. But talking about time to do for, like talking about content as well. So there's another project that we are working on. So the new project is called COVID-19 Stories in Isolation. Do you see the brief for that, Terrence?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to quickly talk about that.
Yes, I did. I liked it on Facebook. Showed my support.
Good, awesome. So that's a new project that we are working on as well, and as I said, we're still under the umbrella of the company as well. So the new project, Stories in Isolation, is meant to be basically general people. When I say general people, so it could be people with jobs, someone who worked at a cafe, someone who's an artist, someone who was a freelancer, will make 5 to 8 minute videos shot on their mobile. We'll send it through to us. We'll edit it into a verbatim style narrative. So we'd go cut from this person's sentence to this person's sentence. So we'll put it together and make it into a mini web series. So that's another update to talk about what we're doing as well. Among that, obviously, we launched today the new podcast that's with you, Tim, and Lachlan. You want to talk about that for a second? Still under the umbrella of the whole zero thing, but continue on.
Yeah, well, it's called The Fitness Lab, and it's a new podcast series that me and the other boys have, some of our good mates have started. Unfortunately, you're not in this one, but you do have a separate podcast, Clever Dummies Podcast. So check it out if you haven't. I always got to plug it. But yeah, for this one, it's just myself, Tim, one of our good mates, and of course Lachlan.
I'm producing it though, so let's be honest.
Sorry?
I'm producing it though, let's be honest.
Yeah. Okay, let's be honest. Yeah, all right. We'll give you that.
Thanks.
But anyway, it's basically a podcast that's focused on fitness, and we talk about topics such as nutrition, training, and sports science. And then obviously we delve into our own fitness journeys and kind of talk about our own personal stories and experiences that we've had, that I think people would find quite interesting, and I feel like a lot of people would be able to relate to it as well. So yeah, it's a very exciting thing. Me and the boys are very excited about it. We've only done our first podcast, and I just posted about it not long ago, like literally less than an hour ago. And in the caption, I said, we're not professionals, ... yet, because you got to have that confidence in yourself that you will become a professional at it eventually, right? But for now.
Or being too humble, almost. That's what I would say. I mean, I don't know what a professional is, but
now we're acknowledging.
Go on.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know what a professional is apart from a person who just runs freaking 50 kilometers for breakfast, Tim, and then someone who's almost got a degree in fitness, Lachlan. And then there's you, who's freaking, almost signed up for, triathlon and, 3 months to go and doesn't know. Yeah. So I would say, I don't think it's more so you need to be a professional. I almost would call yourself an athlete. So it's from an athlete's point of view.
Well, no, of course, I think what I mean by professional is we're not the best, I guess, public speakers or anything like that. We're just, at the end of the day, it's just a few blokes who are bonding over their mutual love for fitness. And, we have the experience the journey to back it up. You know, Lachlan has studied, you know, health and nutrition. Tim has studied, you know, his own side of things, and he does his own side of stuff with fitness. And, you know, I have my own fitness journey there as well. So we all have, you know, experience and a background in this. So I think when we talk about this, you know, it's for the people to really to listen to and be able to relate and to just pure entertainment really as well. But we want it to be very informative for everyone.
Absolutely. And I think something like this is almost really good because, you know, so much of the information about fitness comes from influencers. Now that if you think about those influencers, just because they've got a following doesn't really mean they know what they're talking about, because they're just some people who technically look good and people start following them on Instagram. So all of a sudden those people just make training programs. So where you guys actually have like backing knowledge, and like, you know, Lachlan's obviously qualified as well. So like those kind of things are important to know that for someone who would be listening to that podcast, which is good. But yeah, so that's where there's a little bit of an update on where we are, as what's a, you know, update on what the whole group of series, the Zero group, is doing.
So let's talk about, let's get a bit personal with ourselves and kind of touch on, I guess, what we've been up to recently as far as, you know, the growth for Zero. And this could be anything, you know, like little tasks or just literally there's no limit, there's no right or wrong, just, you know, whatever you've been kind of working on. Where's your head, you know, at the moment? What are you thinking? And is there anything affecting you? Are you really excited about something? So I'll let you start with this because you always seem to have great ideas.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's few things I'm working on. Obviously, the few project updates was all under, you know, Zero saying those all the projects we're working. I'm excited about the stories in isolation. I'm pretty excited to see how that turns out. I mean, apart from that, the update is, I mean, I've started to do a little bit more with the website. We're getting more technical now. So like, you know, trying to do all the little stuff, like, you know, trying to come up with like a lead magnet type situation, so where people can download things and just to leave their email, like, you know, something like get your free, you know, 30-day marketing plan type things, those kind of stuff. So I'm getting into that. So I want to do more of that. So I'm working on that at the moment. So I'm kind of excited about. And also I got an email today from Zero's YouTube. So which I'm gonna, you don't know about this, so I'm gonna just read this email out to you quickly as well. And it's really cool. So the email was, okay, YouTube creator Zero, right? So he goes, last, there were 700 minutes of our videos watched. So 9 hours worth of videos watched on our YouTube channel, which is really good. We've got, you know, we've got 500, you know, so one video had, you know, like, what was it? Yeah. So like, you know, 18 people shared our videos, which is like this is one videos, which is pretty good. So like all this stuff is good, that all that stuff is starting to flow. So that's kind of cool. So that's almost 9 hours worth of watching people did just in the last month on our videos. So which is kind of cool. And obviously that's excluding us, because that usually that's excluding us. What else am I excited about? Yeah, I think that's mostly it. I'm excited to get this video out as well. I'm excited about that we're making more content, which is good. What about you?
Well, first of all, since you mentioned it, I'm the same. I'm excited about all the content that we're creating, because I think it's been a point on our list that we've always, you know, had there, but we've never really fully committed to. We've always given about 85%, but we could have always done
more like 35, but yeah.
Once again, being optimistic and you know, but anyway, look, yeah, we're creating a lot more content now with the time that we have. So that's really exciting. I think I've been talking to a lot more people on LinkedIn, which is great, because I've always obviously had a LinkedIn, and I think a lot of people out there have created a LinkedIn account. But quite recently, I've been talking to a lot more people and reaching out to a lot more people on LinkedIn, which I think is great, because, you know, I was always one that was a bit shy or like hesitant to kind of reach out to, whether it's a business or a specific individual that I wanted to get in touch with. I was always quite hesitant with that. But recently I've come to become okay with that, and I've become a lot more confident in myself and what things I can do and what I'm capable of. And I think it's helped that. So that's another great thing, is the fact that I'm able to connect with a lot more people, specifically on LinkedIn. And I think because given the situation, everyone's, you know, sort of working from home, sort of, although they're working, they have a bit of a casual sort of um, a casual vibe to the day, where they don't have to they can just kind of easily get back to most people that, you know, reach out to them, whether it's email, phone call, or whatever. They just have that extra bit of time. And yeah, so that's also obviously been very helpful. Another thing is probably I've been doing a lot of research about, you know, just the industry and just what's going on and how it may affect Zero, or what we could probably capitalize on, and things like that. Just keeping up to date with all that kind of stuff, because it's changing so fast. You know, you'll read something one day, and then tomorrow you'll read it and it's completely different, or so much has changed. And so I think keeping up to date with what's going on in the world, and what may affect us as a business and what may not, but things like
I
that.
mean,
So
right. So is there anything else you were going to say? Sorry.
no, you go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say this is a really good opportunity to learn as to what's happening in the world as well, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to see what's happening in business or in general, like, you know, just to see how people are reacting. It's a great opportunity to look at those things and just go how people are really reacting, which is really, I find that quite fascinating to see just how everything is happening, like how everything is unfolding. And now talking about keeping up to date with you know, research doing, so another thing I just wanted to quickly plug was, you know, so I was looking at platforms to see what social media seems to be working right now the most at the moment. As everyone knows that, you know, Facebook had sort of taken the backseat on social media, with TikTok coming around, Instagram taking off, and, you know, Snapchat and all this stuff. But you know, nonetheless, since this started, right now Facebook seems to be the most
Yeah.
the most active platform, obviously followed by TikTok and Instagram, not in order, but just I think I forgot what the order was between Instagram and TikTok, but Facebook seems to be coming back. And I think it has something to do with the fact that they've got the word news feed, and that has some sort of psychological impact. So I suppose people want to know what's news, so that's why they log on to Facebook. But yeah, it's really important to know that Facebook is once again like booming right now. Everyone is on Facebook, and, you know, with the Facebook just recently released a new version of Facebook. I don't know if you've seen that.
Is it the new layout? Is
Yeah,
that
the
what
new layout. Yeah. So, which is also interesting, because that also means there's a lot of things are going to change, like ad placements are going to change, and how people, because keep in mind now people have the ability to have dark mode. So that means how are you going to utilize that for like dark mode and stuff?
And obviously, because the layout has changed, the whole, you know, where everything was, some of the things are still sort of in the same area, but, you know, if you have the new, you know, the new look, which I do on my computer, um, it's a lot more. It almost gives an effect that it's more zoomed in, because things are bigger on the screen, whereas previously, I feel like in the screen you would be able to see a lot more. I guess I don't know if this is making sense, but it just seems like they've simplified it, and they've kind of, and I guess by simplifying it, they've almost created this illusion that everything seems bigger as well and a lot more clear. So I think I personally do like the new look of it, and I think
Yeah.
that plays a role with ads, as you were sort of touching on before. Is like, well, how is that going to work? How are people going to see it? How are people going to interact with that now that the whole interface has sort of changed and the whole layout has changed? So it's interesting.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm always excited about new skins for softwares. I'm always like, yeah, new look. So I always get excited about that. I mean, there's obviously the fact that there's a new skin. Obviously there's a lot going to change with that as well. I mean, it's not available to general public yet. It's only available to, like, you know, if you opt in for it. But it's good to see that they're changing. I mean, I feel like they're optimizing for touchscreen right now. So the whole thing is more optimized for touch screens, which makes sense because everything is touchscreen these days, especially like even laptops are touchscreen. So even if it's in on computer, I feel like it's more optimized for touchscreen than ever before. So which kind of makes sense as well. So
Yeah,
That's
well, look, I'm excited to see where they go with this. You know, obviously, as you said, Facebook is probably the most used platform at the moment, with everything going on, and I feel like it almost acts like its own, sort of news platform, because things are a lot more instant there. You know, you can obviously see things on the news, and the news at the moment is on quite regularly with all the new announcements that they're making and stuff. But you know, forgetting about what's going on, no one really watches the news. No one really watches TV anymore. Everything's on the internet, on the computer. So Facebook is a place where people can log on, literally at a touch of the screen. I was going to say button, but there's no buttons on there.
it's true.
At a touch
Touch
of
of
the screen, and see straight away, real time, what's going on in the world, because people are just so active on there, and it's just so easy to like see new information and new things that are happening. So yeah, I think what they're doing is great, and I'm excited to see where they take it.
they just released a new mobile version as well, so I'll see what that
Yeah, I
looks
don't think
like.
I have that yet.
I just updated. I think they released one earlier today. Maybe let's see what it looks like.
Mm.
So I wonder if this one has dark mode as well, because I'm looking at it now.
You're obsessed with dark mode, I swear.
Who does? Who isn't?
I do like it. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the dark mode as well.
Look, dark mode should be the
my
only
type of
mode.
aesthetic.
Dark mode should be the only mode that should be allowed. Let's see. Oh yeah, so they
I'm
changed.
trying to look as well.
So I think what they did was they changed the top bar to a floating bar. Now that drops down to the bottom.
Yeah, right.
So I think that might be a small
I don't think
update. Anyway, that's anything else we want to talk about, or should we start wrapping up this video?
Yeah, well, I'm keeping a timer, guys, because if there's one common thing that tends to happen, a common trend, is the fact that we're really good at talking and just going on forever. You know, if no one cuts us off, we'll just continue talking. So we've learned to start using a timer, and at the moment we are at 27 minutes. So let's sort of wrap it up at the 30-minute mark, which we can start doing now. But yeah, I'm really happy with the things we covered today. I think, obviously, like I said, this is a very casual video. It's more just talking about whatever's kind of going on at the moment with us, whatever we might have on our mind, anything new that we've done, or any ideas that we wanted to share with each other. So yeah, very casual, nothing too professional over here. And I think, I think we touched on some good things. We had some good points. Do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, this is, keep in mind, this is our journal, right? This is our video journal, so we get to talk.
Yeah.
We get to talk about whatever we want. This is more for updates, so we can look back and be like, oh, remember that one time we were struggling. Yeah. Fun. I mean, so there's one thing I like I was talking about before. I just want to quickly touch on that again as to how hard this. I'm not trying to say this like, oh, look at me. This is such a hard thing that I'm doing. I'm just trying to say that, if in life if there's a path given to you, right? So if you not given to you, you always have to find your purpose, right? Like what you want to do. But for some reason, if you are quite happy with just going for your normal job, which I'm like, I'm not whatsoever. Like I'm not, like that's not me. And I'm willing to suffer for longest needed. Doesn't matter how long it's going to be, right? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm willing to suffer indefinitely. Hopefully not indefinitely, but I'm willing to suffer for a while, to be at a level that where I can make a difference in other people's lives. And same thing with you, right? But I think if someone is considering going into like business and going into choosing like this kind of lifestyle, I think it's always worth really thinking about, because you do miss out on a lot in this constant pursuit of like never, constant pursuit of business, which is, so I think go on.
I think that goes with anything that, an individual wants to pursue is, if it doesn't fall into the 9-to-5 category, the traditional 9-to-5 category, then chances are it's going to be a difficult path. It's not going to be easy, whether that's acting or whether that's wanting to be a musician or starting a business or whatever it may be. If it doesn't fall into that sort of 9-to-5 category,
Yeah, and
are used to, then it's chances are it's going to be difficult. So,
yeah, and like
go
right now, like the whole entrepreneur thing is really in right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's really like all over the social media, and like, you know, and it's really interesting. You listen to these people, like, you know, get like some of them aren't very honest, but you know, listen to the honest one, like, you know, they're telling you like, yeah, man, it's all about it's a long game. It's a long game of suffering. That's what it is
yeah,
to be able to, you know, to be able to get to the level where you are able to do this for other people and make a difference in the world, all that stuff, right?
yeah,
So, or make a lot of money. Like, there's a long game. A lot of people, I feel like there's a big misunderstanding of that, thinking that if they go down the path of entrepreneur, 3 years of hard work, and then they live their life on a island, on a on a beach for the rest of their life. I don't think that's how it works. So, you
yeah,
know, I just want to really sort of stress on that, because at least that's what my recent finding has been, to think
mm,
that, you know, like realizing that this is going to be a very, very long game.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. You have to be in it for the long run, and you know, like you said, you know, we're told that it's not going to be easy, and but we go into it with so much confidence. Like, yeah, we'll do it within a year. We'll be a multi-million-dollar company. We'll have,
Yeah,
you know, this, blah blah blah, and you know, a year later, and you're still you've made progress, but you're still nowhere where you thought you would be. So yeah, you have to be in it for the long haul, and you got to have thick skin, because it's just not easy. You know,
no,
it's really not easy. But
absolutely.
you
So,
know,
you
I
know,
think with us, we have strong motivation within ourselves. You know, we don't find motivation externally. It's always an
well,
internal thing for us, and
that's the
we
thing with,
really enjoy
yeah.
it. So I'm speaking for the both of us right now. We really enjoy what we're doing, and you know, our whole goal is to change the world, empower everyone, and you know, for the good of all people. And it sounds so cringy, you know, it sounds so cliche, but at the end of the day, that's what our mission is to change the world, you know, and do good for everyone, and just, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's our main purpose, and you know, everything that we do in our life is in line with that main purpose that we have of changing the world.
Absolutely. And
That's why motivation and discipline comes not necessarily easy for us, but I would say it's a lot more easier for us than maybe someone who doesn't necessarily know their 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 direction, or their passion. Or passion's a funny thing to talk about, actually, but anyway, or doesn't know their purpose, or you know what you know, the kind of you know what I'm talking about here, right, Nick? I'm not
yeah,
just
like, I mean, the thing, like, absolutely on the mark there. I mean, like, the reason this whole thing sounds like, you know, when you talk about, it's like, I want to change the world, it sounds cringy, or like, you know, I'm going to make for the good of all people, it sounds cringy, is because most people are trying to do all these things for a very small reason, which is normally for like money. And they're not normally, like, you know, not very clear on their why, and they just are kind of going with the flow. And then they, you know, they see a Gary Vee video, and they listen to a Tony Robbins podcast, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, all right, well, I'm an entrepreneur now. So, you know, I think there's a big misunderstanding. And I think so many of these times, and if you're not knowing your why, in fact, I was just looked up the quote. I read this book, it's called Man's Search for Meaning.
Mhm.
It's such a beautiful book, and I would recommend anyone to read it. So there's this quote, and it's by a German poet. I think the quote goes, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow."
Yeah, that's great.
It's a great quote, but the reason it's so great is because it talks about, if you know why you're doing everything. I think why is the most important thing, because if your why is small, and this is why I talked about before, I said why goals is such an antiquated measurement of measurement, because, you know, you could say I set myself a goal. A goal is a very antiquated measurement, because, you know, there's no goals, there's only one reason why. There's a reason as to why you're doing things, and
Yeah,
everything else could be it could be, you know, milestones. 100%, you know, because this is the measurement of milestones. But it's all about daily progress, because from once you know your why, anything you do is just towards that main why. I think you need this. The goal setting is the reason goal setting, and so many people talk about this. I think the reason goal setting is antiquated, at least for me or for you, right? Is the reason I speak about this, because everything you do every single day, everything that you fail in, everything that you learn, every time you fuck up, or every time you don't, is all part of that main goal anyway. Oh,
mm,
the main why, as the reason of our existence, right? Which is really interesting. Um, yeah, so absolutely. I think so it's something to think about, and like yeah, I think something definitely to think about. I think the reason we don't run out of motivation is because whatever we do, like you said, is in line with, whether it's even, it's the biggest thing is about energy. Like, people run out. It's like energy is a very finite resource, and like, for example, I'll tell you what energy really is. Like, let's say you finish eating in the, in the lounge, and you're watching something. Use and taking the bowl and putting it in the sink takes energy. That energy, like, getting up and you can't be bothered. That's what energy is. And that's why most people won't have that energy to do things, is because the reason being is they don't really have a reason, and there's no real reason to do anything. That reason, that energy only comes in. It's just like more you train, stronger you get, the energy comes in, more you use it, but people never use it because they never know why. So it always comes back to knowing your why. And if you know your why, you could be a success. You could do whatever you want in you, whether it's a 9 to 5, because your why is simple as, you're simple as, hey, I want a beautiful family, and I just want to live for just this simple life. That's what my why is, and that's what I want to. And if that's your why is clear, and then that means you'll be happy working a 9 to 5 job. And I think, to be honest, I think there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 job. The reason being, it's actually so much easier. You get to go to your work, come back. You don't have to think about work. You hang out with your family, you buy a house, you get to hang out with your girlfriend, all those things. There are all those benefits to it. I think there's been a lot of social media hype about, like, and being so much anti 9 to 5, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Mm. All
So I
right.
think,
Well, I think that was a great message you have there. A great lesson. I learned some things there. So
oh,
for
thanks.
those of you watching, know your why. Just don't be an idiot. Know your why. But all
Exactly.
jokes aside, I think what you said was, very, very smart, and there is obviously a strong bit of logic behind that. But yeah, no, I think that's great, and I think identifying your why and makes the how just a lot more easier.
Yeah, just look up Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy who wrote the quote. That's really important. Anyway, thank you so
All
much.
right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That was another entry into our journal. Hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble on for about 37 minutes.
Damn it!
37 minutes. That means we are bad at maths. We are 27 minutes off our target. We went 27 minutes over. We were shooting for 10 minutes, if that's right.
How does that happen? Okay.
Like I said, man, we can talk forever if no one stops us. And because this is our own video, no one's going to stop us unless it's ourselves. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you found this entertaining. Maybe you learned something. If you ever need to reach out or ask us a question, just, you know where to find us. We're always online like everyone else is.
Or if you're just waiting for a mate, like, just honestly, just give us a call. I know it's a difficult time, so, message. If you need to talk to someone, message Terrence.
Yeah, I give great relationship advice.
No, I give great relationship advice. You are good at comforting people.
All right, well, we'll leave it at that, guys. All right, well, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next entry.
Catch ya.
Yeah.